Welcome to Get to Know with me, Morgan Williams. I've been in the creative industry for over a decade and meet people in different roles every day. But here's my secret. I don't always know what it is they actually do. So here I am getting to know. Each week I sit down with industry insiders, learning what it is they actually do all day long. Whether you're trying to break into the industry, feeling a little bit lost, or just plain curious, Get to Know is here to dish out creative career insights and advice. So let's dive right into this episode. Before we start this episode, I have something really exciting to announce. We're throwing our first ever networking event to celebrate the end of season 1 of this podcast. If you've enjoyed any of the episodes, join me and a selection of my guests at Fujifilm House of Photography in London on September 19th for a fun evening of connecting with fellow creatives. Whether you're an industry veteran or just starting out, this event is open to all and the perfect chance to expand your network. Don't miss out, grab your free ticket on Eventbrite, link in bio. This week, I get to know Silvia, the fashion coordinator of Maag, a Russian fast fashion brand, a bit similar to Zara. Silvia actually used to be on my team at Fennec, but when she got this amazing opportunity to move to Dubai, I was so supportive, and today I get into the nitty-gritty of what she actually does now, which I have to say is pretty awesome. Silvia has worked all over the world for different brands and magazines, even having a stint as a freelance stylist in Madrid. We discuss all of this plus her current role where she's involved from the very early stages of creating a seasonal brand collection, including trend and fabric research, right up until the very end, be it styling photo shoots or curating the visual merchandising display. If you're interested in all things fashion, you won't want to miss this one. Hey Silvia, thanks for coming on. How are you?
Hi Morgan, I'm very good. How are you?
Yes, good, thanks. So nice to have you on. Could you introduce yourself and what it is that you do?
Okay, sure. Thank you so much for having me. First of all, it's super nice to see how this project is coming along, and I'm very excited to be with all the other guests that are very, very interesting. So thank you for having me in the podcast. So my name is Silvia Calvo. I'm from Spain, and I'm 29 years old, and I'm working as a fashion coordinator for a brand called Maag Fashion, which is a fashion brand that does menswear, women's wear, and kids wear, and also baby now, in Russia. And it's a fast fashion brand that is taking over the place of a similar brand called Zara. So right now, what I am actually doing is coordinating the women's wear collections and also the young women's wear collections. And I'm doing the trend research, I'm doing all the styling for the photo shoots, and I'm giving all the tools for the designers to really understand what is the message that we want to transmit to our public, and also to organize the collections in different themes that follow this message that we want to put out into our stores.
It sounds like such a varied and interesting role, which I really want to dive into. But can we take it back a little bit and just talk about your start in the industry? Have you always known you wanted to work in this kind of creative industry?
I always knew I wanted to work in fashion. So I studied back at uni in Spain, and also I did a year in England. And my studies, my major is a double major in communication, so kind of journalism and also social media, and humanities, which humanities is history of art, literature, history in general. And I wanted to be a fashion journalist. That's why I did the two majors, because I thought one was giving me the culture side of everything and the way to be reflected about a culture, which for me, fashion is a cultural phenomenon, and also the communication part, because I thought that when I was thinking my major at uni, I knew I wanted to be part of the fashion industry, but I didn't know how, and I thought my only chance was to work in the backside of the communication areas. So that is how it started. And during uni, I did several internships in fashion companies, in their communication side, in the social media side. And finally, I got to a place that I did a fashion internship for like a magazine. And I was writing articles for a menswear fashion magazine. And this is how everything kind of like started big for me, because that's how I got my first real job in the fashion industry that was not an internship, and how like my career came along a little bit.
So how did you go from kind of like journalism into styling then? Because before what you do now, I know you're a stylist.
Yes, so basically, all my dreams, basically, when I was at uni and even in high school, was to be a fashion journalist, because I thought it was like my career goal. It was the only way for me to have like an active participation in the fashion industry, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
When I got to work at the magazine, I realized I didn't like it at all. To be writing about things that I wasn't experimenting, I wasn't seeing in real life, I wasn't touching the clothing, I had like not physical connection with anything. I was just behind my computer doing like all the editing and all the writing, but with no real connection with anyone, you know. So basically, one time I went to a photo shoot for like a cover in this magazine, and I saw the stylist doing her job for the cover. I had to do the interview for the cover, so that's why I was there. And I was like, I don't want my job, I want your job. How did you? So I was like super surprised about all the fashion photo shoot, all the creative idea, all the styling, all the editing of the pictures and the post production. I was like, I don't know, stunned. I was like, this is what I want to do. So I talked with the stylist, and she told me, well, you are working right now as editor for the magazine. So if you want to finish your job, and then when you finish your hours, you want to help me out, your help will be very welcome.
Oh
So
wow, that's so nice of her to let you do that.
yes, but I was doing like my job in like journalism, and then when I was finishing my hours, I was helping her with the wardrobe, with like sending the boxes, with understanding a little bit about the idea, giving her like my ideas and stuff. And at some point, I was like, okay, I love much more what I'm doing on the side on the magazine rather than my
Yeah.
proper job that I am spending 8 hours of the day doing. So I was like, something needs to change. And
Yeah.
because there was no space in this magazine for two people doing styling, just for one assistant and one stylist, I started to look for jobs of styling online. And I came across of advertisement from Bershka, the fashion brand that actually it belongs to Inditex, which is the group of Zara. It's the same fashion group. And they were looking for an intern in styling. So I sent my CV, I sent like my little portfolio of being assistant at this magazine, and I got the interviews. I got the interview, and after that interview, 4 more interviews. So long process just for an internship.
Oh
And
yeah.
I am originally from Madrid, so I flew to Barcelona to do the physical interview in the headquarters, and I got the internship. And from there, I started to be a fashion stylist.
Amazing. And what kind of things were you involved in at Bershka when you got that internship?
So at the beginning, I learned how the studio process works. So from the clothing when it arrives to the photo studio, so how to name everything, how to process it in the computer, and how to see the process of the shooting, you know. So my first month was really understanding the process and helping all the stylists and even the photographers around the studio. There was in that moment, I think, 4 studios running at the same time, and one for special things that will run 2 days per week, and they will do like the proper big editorial image. Sometimes it will be in a studio, and sometimes it will be on location. So I will help this special studio a lot, because on the days of location, normally more help is needed. And that way I got to understand how it works to shoot in a studio and how it works to shoot in location, or on location, sorry. And this way, after 2 or 3 months, one of the stylists got out of the company. She asked like for her contract to be finished, and they didn't hire anyone else. They put me in her studio. So I was running suddenly a studio in Berska.
Amazing.
With only 3 months of practice, and everything went surprisingly well. Everyone helped me a lot, like in the sense at the beginning I was not able to manage everything by myself because they have very strict processes and they are up to a standard of quality that is very, very high. But it's true that I got help from my mentor there, who was the styling and image director. And with his help and with the helps of my colleagues in the studio, I ran the studio by myself. And it was like such a nice experience because when you are assisting, you only do so much. Like you do a lot. It's a super important job in the fashion industry. Like everyone is part of a team and every help is valuable, but you reach a point that you cannot help more. And in this way, I jump into having my own studio, working with my own photographer, with my own model, makeup artist. So it was like a all-round amazing experience.
Yeah, and they definitely must have seen something in you within those first 3 months that made them feel comfortable for, to put you into that position, that you were obviously doing a good job for them to do that and not just hire someone else into that position and keep you where you were.
Yeah, I think I was just so excited and so passionate about the job and like so willing to learn and to really try to do my best that they were kind of shocked, because many times when you have creative people in house, it happens that when they have been there for like a long time, sometimes they get demotivated or they don't bring that energy all the time to the set. And I was like, I think for them, I still talk to them and I still have a close relationship with this mentor that I was talking about before. And he told me like I was kind of like a force. I came into the studio and I was like, okay, I'm ready. What to do now? What is my job today? I was just like a little girl in a candy shop, So
Yeah.
I think that helped a lot.
Yeah, definitely. And was it ecomm and campaign that you were doing at Bershka, like a bit of a mix of the both?
It's a little bit of a mix because in this moment in time we only did ecom, but the new ins and the editorials were weekly. And when we used to do a special collaboration, for example, we did a collaboration with Billie Eilish. We were the first fashion brand at that moment to do a collaboration with her, and we shot the campaign, we did the looks and everything. So it was kind of a mix. In this special studio, or like in this special set that I was talking about, we will do two very heavy image editorials every week. So it was not the campaign for like a kind of the billboards, but it was the campaign that will be reflected in the screens of the stores and in some like posters of the stores as well. So kind of a mix.
Yeah, and 2 of those a week, that's actually quite a lot to be doing every week. So exciting for the team, definitely.
And also it was because when I was working in the magazine, I have to say that the budgets of magazines are like not so high. They are restricted. I don't know if you are working in a Harper's Bazaar or Vogue, maybe you have even more budget than we used to have. But in commercial jobs, when the budget is big, you can create amazing things. And the budget of this brand was very big. So every week there will be a high pressure, but every week they will tell me, because I was the youngest and it's a young brand. So they used to rely a lot of me for ideas. They used to sit all the team and tell, okay, what's new? What can we do this week? Has anyone seen a fashion show that is inspiring, a TV series, something like this? And it was the moment that Euphoria was released and the glittery makeup was a thing in this TV show. So I was like, I think we need to do a thing about glitter makeup and fun and going out and very varsity, but at night, and they were like, okay, sounds amazing, let's do it, let's shoot at night, let's do this. And I was like, oh my god, like they are actually able to carry every single idea to a physical situation, and that's like very valuable, because not every
Yeah, I think that's amazing as well that they get the input from the team, because I find in a lot of places it's kind of kept to a specific certain group of people that, handle all of that type of, creative direction, whereas opening it up to the team and getting everyone's input is really nice, actually.
I think it is because everyone was very collaborative, and this person that was the head of image and also the commercial head of the team were very open, and they thought like, it's a fashion brand, these people are fashion people and they are young, so they are actually not only the workers but also the customers, so let's see what they have to say. Yeah, so
No,
I
I
was
think that's great. Yeah, really, really good. And I wanted to ask as well, because you obviously went from magazine shoots
Mhm.
into a brand.
Yes.
Did you notice any differences between the way the shoots are actually held apart from budget, like how the shoots operate on set or anything?
I think the core of the situation is the same. You want to get the best work out of the time that you have, and you have to really use very thoughtfully all your resources, even if they are more or they are less. You have to squeeze them out as much as you can. But it's true that I think in editorial, you can be even more dreamy. Like for me, any editorial should be as a fashion dream or like a fantasy. It's a piece of art. It's
Yeah,
meant more artistic, and on a commercial shoot you have to get the message of the brand across every single time, because every single image has to have like the marketing stamp of what the brand is selling to you and what the brand wants to put out there. So it's a different responsibility. I think one has to make you dream and has to make you understand kind of like the artistic concept that you or the team have worked previously, and another one, the commercial shoots have to come across as a very powerful marketing tool. Like you need to sell. It's
yeah,
not like the same. One you sell an
yeah,
idea, and in the other one you sell a brand. And with the brand, there is also certain things that you can do and you cannot do. It needs to resonate all the time with the brand. So
yeah.
sometimes it's complicated to go the extra mile, I would say.
So after Bershka, then let's talk through your career journey and how you've got from there to where you are today. So Bershka, what did you go on to next?
So when I finished my internship time at Bershka, I decided to go back to Madrid from Barcelona and establish myself as a freelance stylist. So I started to do in big campaigns I will assist, and in small campaigns I will be the stylist. And I used to work for different ecoms, but I used to be called a lot by this big e-commerce platform that is actually a luxury multi-brand store in Spain called El Corte Inglés. It's similar to Salutes, let's put it that way. So I used to come there like a lot, and I used to shoot a lot of different products that I never shot before. So it helped me a lot to work with still life themes, with very luxury premium items, and to do men, woman, kids, baby, like kind of everything. Because as you are doing a multi-brand, you run kind of many sets because you are a freelance. So you are like a support to when
Yeah,
they don't have that person or when they have a lot of staff coming in. So in that place, I work for like I would say like a year and a few months as a freelancer, and I like touch all the categories. I even shot an umbrella one time, and I was like, okay, this is weird right now. Like I'm shooting every kind of item possible. And
what
then
was it like working with kids in El Corte Inglés?
it was stressful. I have worked with kids at this point, not in El Corte Inglés, but also in the brand I'm working right now. I have worked with kids many times, and it's very fun once the shooting starts. Like you have done already 2 pictures, and then it's fun because the kid has confidence with you. You already understand the personality of the kids, so you kind of play with them, and it's like
Hmm.
more fun. But I feel at the beginning the responsibility of dressing a kid, managing the kid, and making the kid very comfortable, and also the parents very comfortable because they always come together, or the tutors, or the like whoever person is taking care of the kid. At the beginning, it's stressful. I will say for me, at least, I feel it's a responsibility on top of the responsibility of your job, because
Yeah.
as a nice person, you want the kid to be in the most comfortable position ever, and uh, at the beginning maybe they are shy, or they don't know you, or they are tired, or they are waking up, so you cannot push or do anything that is going to make the kid uncomfortable, so you need to be very careful.
Yeah,
I would.
definitely. No, I've worked with kids within fashion anyway, only like a couple of times, and it is stressful. But the whole planning of the shoot, I think, is the hardest part actually, because you need to get like proper permits and permissions and all this type of stuff, and like do full risk assessments, which aren't necessarily needed for other, ecom shoots, that kind of thing. So there's a lot that goes into just one kids shoot, I think.
Definitely. Also, they cannot work the same times and the same hours as
Mm,
proper adults, of course, because
yes.
the time is limited in function, like in terms of like fees. I am just making it up because I'm not producer, but maybe a 6-year-old can work longer than a 2-year-old. So it's 4 hours, and the other one is 2 hours. Like I don't really know the laws, but you
Yeah,
need
yeah.
be very like, okay, this kid now is resting, this kid now is coming to the shoot, now is leaving. So it's kind of like I will say is for me it's kind of being in a theater play, like this is entering, this is exiting, this is coming in, this is coming out. It's kind of
Yeah.
very stressful. So I will say that if someone is planning a kids shoot, they need a amazing producer, and they need more help in terms of styling and photography team. Like
Yeah.
sometimes they say, oh, it's kids, so let's reduce the team so they don't feel uncomfortable, or like they don't have that many inputs. But no, you need more help, because you put the shoes on one, and then he does a picture and he's taking out the shoes, and like you're like, oh no, the shoes. So
It's just on.
you need another person to come in and like to help them put the shoes while you are shooting with another person. So it's
Exactly,
not
yeah.
a lot of planification, and I will say have fun, because the kids, for them it should be kind of like a game, so
Hmm.
to be in this kind of game mindset, I would say.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
All right, so freelance.
Yes.
How long were you freelance for, and how did you find being a freelance as well?
I found that at the beginning I was very naive, because my previous experience was being helping on the magazine, and then being in brand in house, sorry, in Berska.
Yeah.
So I would say that I was like, okay, I'm gonna become a freelance and I will have clients. I didn't have that many contacts. I
Yeah.
didn't have that many people that knew me, especially in Madrid. Like, yes, in Barcelona, because even on the weekends, I was doing photo shoots on my free time for editorial magazine. And that way I kept the ball rolling, and my name was kind of out there, because I will say
Hmm.
that if someone wants to start as an stylist, you have to do your jobs that they are giving you money and they are giving you contacts. And in your free time, you have to do editorials. You have no other options, because the editorials, if you put out good editorials, is what is going to give you the good commercial clients later. So you have to invest in your portfolio. So I will say that all this work that I did in Barcelona over the weekends in my free time helped me out to get the ball rolling kind of in Madrid, because thanks to social media, people started to see my work and to connect me to like some people that were in the industry, so they feel like you are like a trustworthy person, like, oh, she has worked with this one, so it means like the level of her job must be here because this person has been in the industry for like quite some time. So I arrived to Madrid and I got put down for like an assisting job in a big campaign for a sunglass company. And then after that, someone in this campaign was saying like, oh, we need people in this multi-brand fashion store. Like, will you come to do a tryout for a day? And I did the tryout. Everything went super good. I vibe with the team a lot, so they call me like constantly. So I found I was almost in brand without being in brand, like in-house with in-house. So I felt quite relaxed by being a freelance at this time. But at some point I was like, okay, I don't want to be a freelance anymore. I want to be in-house again. So I received a job offer from my boss in Bershka, this image director. He got an offer in a Swiss company, in a fashion brand similar to Bershka, but for the cold countries of Europe. And he called me and he was like, I want you in my team. So I was like, okay, then I'm flying to Switzerland. See you there.
Amazing. I love how you just like not let the location of anywhere put you off. Like you obviously moved within Spain, you went over to Switzerland, you've also lived in London for a little bit, and now you live in Dubai. Like,
yes, I live in Dubai right now.
I feel like I'm definitely not the type of person that would just go for a job no matter what the location. But why do you think you're so open to traveling wherever?
I feel because the offers they give me are so good.
You
That
can't turn it down.
I will say is that, but I will say that to be honest, the only time that I have looked for a job in the fashion industry in the past 6 years, which is when I switched from a magazine to actually styling and doing a creative, like my creative side. I never look for a job. The job always finds me, except for England, because I knew I wanted to move to London. Like it was a goal of mine. I also had like a sentimental situation that I wanted to be in London for like a reason there as well. So that was the only job that I actually looked for. Like all the other jobs, they have come while I was doing a job, and they get the phone, they call me, and they say, okay, I want you in my team. And I feel when someone wants you in your team, they are going to give you professionally a very good position, economically a good offer. And also, like, I think every time that I left a job to go to another one, I have grew so much that I lost kind of like the fear of like moving, I will say.
Okay. Why do you think people are offering you these jobs? Are you just really good at creating relationships with people?
I feel it's super important to create good relationships with people. One time I think, listening to a chat similar to what we are doing now, and the person said, when you leave a set or you leave like a room that you have been working on, the only thing that people are going to remember you for is how much you help them to create whatever you guys were working for, and your energy. So you need to help the team as much as possible, and you need to live that energy like in the best way possible. Like you need to put out all the smiles, all the flexibility, all the hard work that you can offer to the team. You have to do it, and I feel that was a great advice. I truly think I listened it on a chat and I was like, okay, this advice is gold, because really I feel people remember you for your personality, which is something unique and is yours, and many people can do the same job, but not everyone is going to do it in the same way, and not the team
Yeah.
is going to feel supported and energized in the same way by the person that does the job. So at the end, there are so many creative people, so many people with amazing talents, but they choose you, I think, not only for your talent or for the standard of job that you can deliver and you can bring to the table, but also for your energy. And I think this is very, very important. So I think
I think
I did.
that's so true because obviously both of us have met quite a lot of people in the industry now, and there's definitely some people that I wouldn't really want to work with again just because their energy on set wasn't great, or
Sure.
they were a little bit difficult to work with, even though they might have done an amazing job, but you want to work with people that you actually like working with.
Definitely. I think if you're going to spend a lot of time with a person, even if it's for just one project, when you shoot
Yes.
maybe for 10 hours straight, or like the preparation of the shoot is long, or whatever you're doing. If you are designing for a brand, you put a lot of effort and you are very invested in the project. So even if you are an amazing person in terms of your talents and the work you can deliver, if you are difficult to work with and you don't put the best energy out there, people will call you one time, but they won't call you twice. And
Yes.
for me, this was advice that I took, and I'm really trying to honor it because I feel is what it has given me the best opportunities. Because I think, honestly, I'm good at my job, but I think people rely on me because of the personality and because how flexible and how hard worker I am. So I
Yeah.
think that's the key, I would say.
Definitely. So that job then, so you went from freelancing to full time. What was that job?
So I went from freelance in Madrid to a job in Switzerland, and I was on the creative side of a company called Talibale, which is similar to Bershka in terms of clothing, but is sold online and across all the cold countries in Europe. So basically, they were doing a rebranding and they wanted to be like more connected with the young customer, in this case for young girls, kind of like in a teenager spectrum of age. And they wanted to be like the brand that will encourage them, empower them, and they wanted to put that message out there. So I helped creating that message through fashion styling, through the campaigns as well. So not only doing the styling on the campaigns, but also kind of doing the art direction and giving kind of helping on the creative ideas of this, and also kind of giving some hints also to the marketing team in terms of, okay, we want to put this message out there, we are doing this in terms of image, this in terms of campaign, what can we do in copywriting, what can we do like in putting the website somehow, or events, or so. I will be especially involved in the styling again, but working a lot of times behind the scenes in order to kind of have like a marketing strategy, I would say.
Yeah, it sounds quite exciting being involved in all those other things as well.
Yeah, I think the more things that you are involved in, the more you learn. So maybe in
Yeah.
this case, my offer for this job was at the beginning only fashion stylist. But then because I built a good relationship with the marketing team and with the design team, and with all these like teams that work on the same direction, I will be involved in like their meetings and in their feedback, and like in how to create like ideas for this kind of activations and rebranding that they were doing. So I think the more you are involved, the more you get as a professional. So that's why I go
100%.
across many categories, kind of thing.
100%. I totally agree with that. How long did you work at that brand?
I only worked 10 months because you said I am never put off the location of the companies or where the
Hmm.
headquarters are. But in Switzerland, all my love to this country and to the people from there, but I didn't find it was a place for me.
Hmm.
So I really wanted to move either back to Spain or to London. I decided London was the place to be for me. So I started actively looking for a job there after being kind of like 9 months in the company in Switzerland, and I found a job in Fenix with you.
Yeah.
Quite fast since I started looking. So I gave my notice period, and I spent Christmas with my family back in Spain, and then I moved to England because I really wanted to change locations and change vibe, and I felt the lifestyle of the area I was living in was not like so suitable for me. I liked the job, but I didn't love everything that surrounded the job, so I decided to move out.
So when you're looking for a role in a different country, how do you find those roles? Were you just looking at different websites? What websites were you looking at?
So the good thing about London and England in general as a country is that I have worked there previously because I did a year abroad of studying in Leeds Uni, and then I found an internship in London helping on the communication department of an artist that paints paintings, basically. So it was not
Mm-hmm.
related with the fashion industry, but related with my communication and history of art kind of major, which it was needed for me to complete my degree, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So I already had like some sense of how England works in terms of like the job offers, the processes, how to build the CV, and kind of like these backside things that are super important when you are applying for a job in a specific country. Everyone has their specific rules. So I look especially from portals like, for example, fashionjobs.com or Indeed or like Glassdoor or like these kind of things that I know that they are very big in England, that, for example, in Spain, they may not be so big, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I browse for like, I would say kind of like 3 weeks, 4 weeks. I saw the positions that were out there. I refreshed my CV, refreshed my website, my socials, and then I started applying to the roles that I thought that they could match my expectations and I could match their expectations. So that's how I navigated, I will say.
Yeah, amazing. Did you live in London when you applied for Fenwick, or did you apply whilst you still lived away?
I applied for Phoenix while I was in Switzerland, but
Uh-huh.
I had the possibility to fly into London for an interview with no problem. So I will say, when you are looking for a job in a place like Europe is, let's say, small. Like if I am right now, I'm located in Dubai. If I want to apply for a job in England, of course, it will be difficult for me to fly in and out
Yeah.
just 1 hour interview. But when I was in Switzerland, for me it was quite easy. I would just jump in a flight, I ask for like a holiday day in the current job I had, and then I will be there with no problem. Also, because at the time I was in a relationship with someone living in London, I could stay in their house, and that way it will be like so easy for me. So all the interviews that I did in looking for a job in London, I will say that I was doing the interview from London, because that
Yeah.
people are way more likely to say, okay, so like just let's meet tomorrow, or like they feel that it's not gonna be such a headache to bring you onto the team to, like, when you're looking
Yeah.
for a job, you need to put the things easier for the people that they are hiring you. When they are calling you for the job, you need to put things hard. So they need to move your furniture, give you a relocation package. They are calling you because they want you. So you take advantage of that, in my opinion. And then when you are trying to get a job in a specific country and you're not living there, I will say that the best way possible is to say, yeah, I am out of town because I am on holiday right now, or because I had a family thing this weekend, but we can meet on Monday if you want, or
Mhm.
whatever.
That is great advice. So, yes, you joined us at Fenwick as, well, you first came in as a stylist, but it was very sort of early days of our studio,
Yes,
and we built that studio
from the ground.
from the ground. And I think, did you only join us like Not very long, a couple of months before we actually opened that studio.
Yeah, I think
So
I joined in April and we opened the studio in September
yeah,
or in
yeah,
August.
October I think it was that the actual opening of the studio. So yeah, that wasn't very long at all, and like the needs in the team changed as well. So obviously your role evolved into a senior stylist role at that
Mhm.
point. So when we actually opened the studio, and you became senior stylist, obviously I know, but just for the listeners, can we talk through what your responsibilities looked like at that point?
So at the beginning, when I arrived to Phoenix, I was a stylist. So I was needing to give support into the still life styling for the website through the artificial intelligence software that Phoenix
Mm-hmm.
uses in order to create the shots and put them up in the website. So I felt like I had to really learn every brand that Phoenix was working with,
Yeah.
and also learn like the message that every brand, sorry, wanted to come across, but Fennec as a whole, what was the tone of voice of Fennec? Because when you are multi-brand, I found it at El Corte Inglés that it was very difficult because you are working with a portfolio of brands. Of course, this portfolio is edited already, so you already have like a signature, but each brand is different in their personality. So you want to keep some personality of the brand, but you need to create like a signature or like a big personality that is Fennec personality, and how do those brands fit within Fennec. So I felt like that was like my biggest challenge at the beginning, to kind of understand not only the process of how to do my physical job as an stylist for Fennec, but how to manage this portfolio of brands within the tone of voice of the company. And then when the position for senior fashion stylist was open, of course, I went for it very clearly. Like I really wanted to upgrade the role because I think I was qualified for it. And I was really excited about the idea of opening the studio, starting from the ground, because it's a thing that I have never been part of. And a studio, you have the producers, you have the photography section, but you have the styling section. So it's kind of like all these categories that have to fall into place in a very smooth way. So I really wanted to be there and to be part of how to build a studio from the ground.
It was such an exciting time building that studio from
Yes.
the ground up, and I think it went very, very well considering it was all done pretty quickly and we were such a small team doing it as well.
Yeah.
Remind me, how long did you stay with us before the opportunity in Dubai came up?
I think I did 11 months. To be honest,
Mm-hmm.
in the past 6 years, I have changed job every year and changed country or location every year. So I have
Yeah.
to 6 different places in the last 6 years. So right now,
Wow.
I'm based in Dubai since last February, February 2023. So it's the longest that I have been settled down in a place.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
How are you finding Dubai?
Work-wise, it's a lot of pressure and it's hard, but it's super thrilling because we are starting a brand from the ground up for a very specific market in very specific characteristics, because we are working from Dubai, and the brand, the headquarters are in Dubai, but all the stores are in Russia. And also they are expecting us to cover the emptiness that Zara has left in the country, because Zara closed all their stores there, and we are taking the opportunity of opening a fashion brand that has the same standards and kind of the same customer, with our own personality and our own signature, but it's just for people to understand, because it's easier to compare one brand to another. So
I mean, they've definitely targeted that niche, like they've definitely gone off after, I guess, that gap that's been left. So it's a great opportunity to do, isn't it?
Definitely. So I'm finding it super exciting. At the beginning was very long hours and a lot of work, and it felt quite like a lot, but right now that everything, like, we kept the ball rolling, we opened the stores, because I came into the project before even they opened the stores. So we prepared the collection, we opened the stores, we saw the opening, and now we understand the customer, and we have historics of sales and historics of who is buying us, what is the perception of us in the market, what we want to put out there. So we are gaining our personality through also the information we are getting from the customers of the brand and from kind of like the public in general. So it's really exciting, but now I feel like my feet are more on the ground. I understand more my job, how to help to the team. And one thing that I have never done before, which is work with the same team for more than a year. So that has been very lovely, I have to say.
So let's dive into what it is you actually do day to day in your current role. So you did say earlier, but just remind us about what areas you cover as a fashion coordinator.
So I am a fashion coordinator just for the women's wear department. In the women's wear department, we have two sections. One section that will be the woman, and one section that will be the young woman. That we will target from, I would say, 16 to 36, and then the woman we will target from, I would say, like 28, so like already a professional that is more set up in her own kind of personality and job and stuff, till however much you want to be. So in these two sections, I manage the fashion trends. So what I do is I dive and I browse through the internet, through all the fashion agencies, through TikTok, social media, customer reviews, the customer reviews from the online shopping and from the physical shopping, everywhere I can gather information in order to understand what has been the strength of the season and what has been the weakness of the season. And also, with that, I kind of understand what the customer wants from us. And I also do kind of cool hunting, like what is cool in this country, what is cool worldwide in the world, and how it's going to affect the fashion industry for the next season. So I do like a cocktail with everything I just said, and I create the trends for the women's wear department and for the young women's wear department. And these trends that I create, actually, they are like released monthly, and they are the stories that we are gonna tell in the shop floor. So, for example, if it's April this year, we in the Young Women's Wear department, we had a trend about a festival, and kind of it covered all the trends related to like a summer festival, and with the colors, with the textures, with the materials that they are like trendy to be using for that kind of story. Then we had a trend that was about the young professional. So maybe the biggest fashion brand right now giving us this kind of inspiration is Miu Miu. So I go to the Miu Miu store, I check all the qualities, I check all the details. Of course, we are a fast fashion brand, so we cannot cover the standards of qualities of, like, for example, Miu Miu, but we can take a lot of information from that. So I talk to the suppliers and I ask them to send us similar trimmings or similar fabrics, or fabrics that look kind of like alike, in order to create kind of like a whole rounded fashion trend about this kind of like a young woman that goes to work and wants to look trendy and cool. And I research for the colors that needs to have, which cannot be overlapping with the other colors that we are going to have in the festival collection, for example. And then in the women's wear, maybe it's trendy, I don't know, the color gold and the fabrics that are like shimmery. And then we are selling super good every single like stud that has an application of like a shine. So I gather all this information and I gather the trends and I create like an ambience for the store that is focused on that. So when I do this trend, I do the mood for the designers and the buyers and the brand directors for understanding what message we want to come across. I do a research on the colors we want to use and I put them like in a board, so it's very physical and people can like see exactly the colors and cut those colors and send them to suppliers so they can copy all the same kind of pattern of color across the whole collection. And I also do like research of trimmings that it can be like special buttons or special threads that can add up to give the personality to the collection. And I also work with finding the best fabrics for that collection. So maybe if it's a golden capsule, it has to be very shimmery, very like shiny. What fabrics can give me that effect that it shines when it hits the light, or like that you do like a full suit and it's shiny but it's not tacky, it is more elevated or elegant. So I do kind of the mood, the colors, the trimmings, the silhouettes that go there. Like, how are we envision? Like, is this a casual collection or is this like a special occasion collection? And it's gonna be more about dresses. Then how these dresses are gonna be like more like Victoria Beckham dresses or more like, I don't know, Emilia Whisk dresses. So it is kind of like doing a full research and then present this research to all the designers and give them the tools to actually propose garments for this collection. And then when they propose the garments, I have the numbers of how many dresses we can buy per collection per month, because the commercial team gives them to me. So I need to coordinate that not every single dress we have in the same month is similar, and in the same collection, I need to coordinate that the color palette goes like from maybe darker in January to a lighter color palette to a very vivid color palette to a lower color palette. So it depends on the seasonality. So I do kind
So
of...
interesting. That is such a cool job. How involved are you then in like choosing the final looks, I guess, that are actually going to go into production?
So super involved, because in this company, the commercial team and the buying team that are under the commercial team and the head of design, who is my boss, and the trend lab, which is what I represent, we are all like working together all the time. So we put all the collections down, all the proposals down, because when I give this tool to them, they propose us. And then from the design coordination team, which is myself and the head of design, we kind of edit it and we say, okay, I need 3 shirts, you present to me 9, I choose the best 4, and we are going to develop them, and then we are going to edit out the one that looks not the best, basically, for the collection. So these items, we have to present them to the commercial team, because we are a fashion brand, but we need to sell. Everything needs to be commercial, and you are putting a lot of money in the table because everything you are buying in advance and then you are selling after. So you need to make sure it's going to sell. So the people that buy this product, these buyers and this commercial team, they need to believe in the product. So we need to present to them the product, say why for us is important, and we need to highlight the key looks that are going to make the ambience of the store and the walls of the store to really make that message come across. So we need to kind of sell the ideas of design to the commercial team, and then the commercial teams, they give you their input. Like, for example, we had something similar last year and in the shape didn't sold, so maybe you can rework it into a shape or a silhouette that is like more easy for, because this trend is already like very like dreamy, maybe put it into a shape that is more commercial. And then you take that input, you again do kind of like a cocktail, you edit out, and then finally you have kind of the collection. So we send all this information to the suppliers that we work with, and then the first prototypes start arriving. So sometimes you have a vision in your head, but the supplier that's perfect, or the supplier doesn't know how to really make that happen. So then we do the fitting of the different stylings in the models, and although this is designer job to make the fitting and make the garment final look amazing, every time there is a doubt, every time that we are not sure, every time that we need to switch and style and everything passed through me and through the head of design. So at the end of the day, I am involved from the beginning of the conception of a collection to when we are putting the button, or we are making the label or something go bigger or go shorter, because we had an idea of doing like a super oversized suit, but then you see it on the model and it's not giving you the look, so maybe you have to reduce or you have to change. So I am there for every step of the way until it arrives to the store.
And then you style the shoots as well.
Yes.
So I guess all of the research that you've done at the beginning in order to inform like what that collection is going to look like, do you use that same research then to conceptualize the shoot and like where you're going to shoot it, what your model's going to look like, and all the other things that go into shoots?
Yes. So, for example, the brand director gives us a budget for image, and then is the head of design, who is my boss, who really sits down with me and says, okay, we need to shoot like 7 collections. We need to do it during these 2 weeks. Because we decided to do like a festival collection, I propose you to do it here, and we talk about it. Sometimes the idea comes from him, sometimes the idea comes from me. It's true that because I'm very involved in the coordination of the collections, all my job of doing research for the collection is kind of done, so I give that information onto him, and maybe he's the one that plans more like the location of the different shoots, but we take a lot of the when you do like a collection, you say, okay, it's gonna be like Western inspired. Then it's the easiest thing is to take the collection and go to a Western location and shoot it there. So kind of that research, the base of the research is already done when you do the trend. Sometimes you do an ski collection and you cannot go to the Alps, but and then you shoot it, I don't know, I am just making it up, but in the north of Italy, in the streets with all the jackets. So sometimes the idea changes from the initial mood board of the collection, but normally we try to really keep consistent with the idea we were planning in the first like stages.
Yeah, because I know that you've traveled a lot as well for the shoots. Like you've been to, just off top of my head is like Japan, Spain. I guess that's probably the really glamorous side of the role, that you get to like visit all these places and do all these cool shoots in these amazing locations. But how do they actually work when you get there? Like how does your time in that location actually look? Are you literally just going to and from set?
Kind of, yes. So, for example, Japan, which was one of my favorite shooting experience, we have a producer in house, and when my head of department and myself, we gather and we talk about how many shoots we need to do, because we also shoot for menswear and kids. That's why I work a lot with kids in this position. I don't only style women's wear, I actually style the 3 categories. When we sit down and we gather all the information we have, and like we put out the creative idea, we talk to the producer and she starts getting the ball rolling, like, okay, so you want to do Japan, you want to do with this kind of light, so I'm gonna propose you some photographers and some kind of makeup artists and some locations. So this producer comes back with like all her research, and from her research that normally is on point, we select the ideas that we like the most, and then we plan the shoot. So on Monday we're gonna shoot menswear, and on Tuesday we are gonna do video for menswear. On Wednesday we are gonna shoot women's wear, and on Thursday we are gonna do video for women's wear, and then kids wear we are gonna do back in Spain because it's easier for us, and with all the permissions and the permits and stuff, we already know the deal there, so we will keep it there. So we do like a planning, not only in traveling, but which day we are gonna work specifically with which category, and if it's gonna be video or it's gonna be picture, and then we fly the day before. We have a day in order to do a Ricky, which is like location hunting, like to check that the locations that were proposed by the producer and the photographer are matching the vibe, and say, okay, there I'm gonna put that look, or there I'm gonna put that look. We are gonna start with this location because I don't know, it's on like in the middle of the street, and if we don't start with this one, there is gonna be too many people around. So this kind of like organization of the shooting. Then we go to sleep. We wake up super early, and normally we get either a motorhome, which is like a huge truck in which you can change the model and do the makeup inside. It's kind of like a house, but inside of a truck that you can park. Great, yes. So normally we do with motorhome when it's on location, or with having like a hotel near there that we can an area of the hotel or whatever is needed for each shoot. So we shoot from very early in the morning until we finish. We are quite fast because the head of image and the head of design, who is the same person in this case, he knows exactly what he wants, and we have been working constantly for many years together, because he is the same person as in Berska and then in Switzerland. So he has been
awesome.
for many years now. So I already know how to give him what he wants, and he already knows like if I need some time or if I need something, like there is a good synergy between us. So it's stressful, but I think when you work with a team that you are like used to and they are used to you, is very fast and like easy. So we get the shoots, we wrap everything, and we are like, okay, tomorrow women's wear, or tomorrow
on to the next one.
next one. And sometimes, like if we do a big trip, like going to Japan, or last time, for example, we went to Rome. That's the last photo shoot I have done recently. We try to take advantage of not shooting just one division, maybe shooting two, or like, because while you are already doing the trip, the expense of traveling the people and making like everyone go there is already like there. So it's better to elongate it for one more day or two more days and get more content. So basically that's how we work.
Definitely. Do you shoot the stuff for socials as well on these shoots?
We shoot the stuff of socials, yes, because as we do editorials and the campaign, they use those editorials and those campaigns for socials. And then
Amazing.
we have a team that is local in Russia, in the headquarters that we have in Russia, that they also shoot some content that is more like in location there that we cannot achieve because we are located in Dubai. So
Sure.
social is there because if they are working with a local influencer or things like this, they present us the idea, we check the idea, and once the idea is good, we send the okay, they go forward, and then they send us the pictures in order to kind of revise them. But it's a very good team, and they have good autonomy, like they are great content creators, so we just kind of like give the okay, I will say. But in general, it's not even needed because they are good at their jobs. So.
And how do you find, I guess, working for a brand where your target audience isn't actually where you're located or where you're actually from either? Like,
Yes.
how do you know what the Russian audience wants?
This is, I will say, one of the most difficult situations that I face in my daily basis, because also it's not the location, but it's the language. They speak a language that I cannot understand. I understand Spanish, I understand English, I understand some Italian and some Portuguese, but I don't understand any Russian, like some words, but I am watching a video of a fashion stylist that has gone to our stores reviewing the product, and I have to put the subtitles, and I have to with artificial intelligence trying to understand what this person is saying about the button, or like if they like the style or not, like. So this for me is kind of difficult, but we have a lot of Russian colleagues in the office. They have worked already in the field in Russia, and they have moved to Dubai, and they have been headhunted to come to Dubai for this project. So I am connected a lot with the Russian audience, and they translate everything to me. They give me all the insights. And also, as we have a headquarter in Russia, everything that is put out in PR, in marketing, in influencers, they translate it to us and they send it to us. So we have kind of like the 360 spectrum of what is going on in the country. So I will find it easier, I would say for sure 100%, when you're working for a brand, sell to the same audience that you are with, kind of like being in the same country. But also it happens to international brands that maybe you are, for example, when working for Bershka, you are selling to half of the planet. You only know about your Spanish house.
So true, yeah.
Maybe the people buying Bershka in the UK are wearing it completely different, or they are perceiving the brand completely different to the people in Spain. So at the end of the day, you need this kind of like PR teams and marketing teams and people from the store that gather all the feedback and give it to you. And in this sense, we all speak English. We understand each other in English. They also, some of them speak Spanish, because Russian people are very good with languages, I have to say. One of the biggest things, if you want to be able to work in the fashion industry, you need to have English as a base of everything, because otherwise you won't be able to participate in international projects, work with international models, which are like an everyday thing. I think it's sometimes challenging, but we have this like network of people helping us, so we manage quite good, I would say.
Amazing. And how long does it take you to create one of these collections? So if you think about it from, the first time you're trying to conceptualize it up until your photo shoot comes out, how long is that?
I will say it's 9 months.
Wow, long.
For example, right now we are putting out the collection for July in the stores, and the collection of July was conceptualized, and I did the presentation of this collection, of the materials, the colors, the shapes, the vibe, even kind of like the idea for the image 9 months ago. So right now it's arriving to the store, and they are sending me videos of like the visual merchandising and like how everything is gonna be like allocated around the store and stuff. And well, this was at the beginning of July, I would say, or like the 3rd of July or something like this, but it was 9 months ago. So I will say it's fast fashion, but since you create something until you do the prototypes and you do the whole collection and it arrives to the store and you actually see that collection put down in the walls and in the colettes and stuff, it takes 9 months for us.
Yeah.
Maybe for some companies it's faster, or maybe for some companies it's slower, but kind of this is the kind of turnaround that we have.
Yeah, amazing. Do you know what? That's been so insightful, literally. I can't believe how much stuff that you do as well within your role, but it sounds super exciting, always something new going on, which obviously keeps it fresh.
Yes.
So, I'm so happy that you found such an amazing role. What would be your top 3 tips for someone trying to break into the industry and looking to do something similar to what you do?
I will say, maybe it sounds cheesy, but I will say put yourself out there, like in the sense, if you have done like, for example, in styling or in communication, anything, even though it's like it has been in uni or like in a fraternity at uni that you used to write or you used to take pictures, or the pictures that you take for yourself for social media, or everything, like any piece of work that you have, gather it and put it either in social media or like create a website and treat it like is part of your portfolio, because when you are starting you don't have that much work to show. So either you create like some shoots or some articles like fictitiously in order to like you are not going to publish them, but to have like a piece of work, you always need to be able to say, this is what I have done. Like so far, like, and I am able to produce more work with more people, and I'm willing to learn and to take it to the next level. But so far, this is what I have. I think there is always very needed to have a point of reference for any person that wants to take you over in their team. I will say reach all the contacts you have within the fashion industry or like surrounding the industry. Maybe you know people in the music industry, or maybe you know people, I don't know, in literature or in art. Because, for example, when I was working for the first time as an intern with this English artist, she was not only known for her art, but also she used to wear extravagant outfits. So we used to do a lot of collaboration with like very well-known festival brands in the UK, and that's how I learned like, oh, okay, that's how an influencer gets paid for doing this kind of ads. That's how you gain money on the site in order to keep your product going, or how you create like a brand for yourself. So I learned this kind of like marketing strategies within the fashion industry. So I will say that even if it's not exactly in fashion, maybe it's in photography or maybe it's in makeup, like go to find those contacts you have within fields that could help you and knock at their door. Because, for example, that first internship, I got it from myself without the help of anyone. But my internship at the magazine, I knew someone that was working in that magazine years ago, and I asked her for the contact of the head of the magazine, and I wrote straight away with like my portfolio, like kind of like a hello letter, like, this is me, I want a job, can you give me an internship? So and also I will say, don't be shy, like go to events, do networking, listen to these chats online and try to build like a community out of there. But for example, what it helped me the most was going to courses within the field of the fashion industry. For example, I did one that was fashion journalism and fashion communication, and it was put out there by a well-known newspaper in Spain. And I did a lot of networking in this course. It was just on the weekends, it wasn't expensive at all, but some friends I made in that course, they are now working in amazing positions in the fashion industry in Spain, and they are my top contacts when I have to ask for something. And not only like I build good relationships with them professionally and also personally, but like if I want maybe to get a job in Spain, those are the first people I'm contacting. And also, for example, I did a course in Central San Martins, a summer course. This was kind of like on the most expensive side. It was like presential, like I had to go there physically, and I had the possibility to do it because I have saved from internships and from like side jobs. But all these people that I met there, and also my teacher there, the head of the course, he even called me for like, oh, okay, Silvia, I have this job, like it's a side job, would you like to take it? I propose you, I put you forward. So those are your contacts, the people that you do courses with, the people that you do networking with. I think it's super good to build this kind of relationships, because at the beginning they are kind of like in the same gray area that they want to break into the industry, but once they break, they are your best contacts. They started with you, they kept up with you, and like at some point they're gonna like go up within the industry, and those are gonna be diamonds for you when you need something professionally.
Yeah, definitely. Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on. It's been amazing and so nice to catch up as well.
Thank you so much, Morgan.
I hope you enjoyed this episode with Silvia. I'm just in awe of what she does every day and can't believe how many different things she's involved with day to day. I hope you enjoyed this as much as me. If you did, I'd really appreciate it if you leave a review, rate and subscribe. If you want to learn more, follow us on TikTok and Instagram at the Get to Know Podcast, and I'll catch you the same time next week where I'm getting to know Fee, a social strategist and founder of Creative Ally. We talk about her humble beginnings back in Wales, starting her own business and imposter syndrome. Plus, she gives me the goss on her latest venture, Creatives Cymru, a supper club in London to connect fellow Welshies. If you're interested in all things social, this is the episode for you.